Hello students, Miss Alison here, and welcome to another episode of Exploring My City Through Art. This week, we are doing something really exciting. We are going to be decorating and designing masks. Hello. Yes, our mask will represent who we are. So we are going to think about the things that we like, our heritage, where we're from, the favorite colors, etc., etc. And we are going to design a mask that represents us. We will be using mixed media. You get to choose what you want to use. We'll be using paint, maybe paper collage. We'll be making things come out of the surface, maybe adding things to the top, letting it drape. The sky is the limit. So we're going to have lots of fun with our paper masks. Everybody has one of these, and let's begin. So I just would like to give you some examples of masks. There are masks all over the world, traditional masks from different countries, and they use masks in many different ways. Some countries use masks in ceremony, masks to ward off evil spirits, masks for warrior masks. You know, we have masks for peace, for love, masks for different parades and festivals. So as you can see, I want you to think and look at the different styles and shapes within these masks, okay? The colors, the shapes and forms that protrude from them. So it's not just flat, but then we have things that created a three-dimensional effect coming off of the surface, right? We have African masks. These are Native American masks. We have Mardi Gras masks for Carnival. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, and we have Carnival as well. And some people wear elaborate masks with their costumes. But I want you to think about, why do people wear masks? So when they wear a mask, they become something else. They believe that they can become something else. And they take on the spirit of the mask, whatever it is. Sometimes you see somebody in a parade, or you see somebody in a costume, and they act a different way. They act totally different to what they may normally be. And have you ever seen that? Sometimes maybe for Halloween, when you guys dress up for Halloween and you wear a certain costume or a mask, you become that image or character. So masks are very interesting in terms of they can create a whole different look. Now, what I want you to do is come up with your own mask, thinking about your own identity. Maybe your culture, where you're from, where your family is from, your favorite colors, your favorite things to do. So many things that you can add in there. But the reason I'm showing you these as well is so that you can see how different parts are divided. And I want you to think about how you would like to divide your mask with different colors, different shapes, okay? So we're not just going to paint it one color and that's it. We're going to see what colors that you like specifically and what shapes. How do you want your mask to be? Do you want a scary mask? Do you want a loving mask, a mask that's happy? Do you want a funny mask, like a joker? Okay? So this is an example of just black and white, just so that you can think about maybe dividing your mask into different shapes, which will be easy for you to paint or color in the different shapes, and so you don't get overwhelmed. I want you to think about all the different lines, forms, shapes that you can use on this mask, okay? Masks are very interesting because, you know, there's so many ways to express yourself through the mask. What you want the mask to represent or to look like. Okay, so here's our mask. And before we dive in with paint, on adding and sticking things on, obviously and always, we would like to do a sketch. Always, 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 we want to do studies. All artists always do studies of their work, okay? So I have a piece of sketch paper and I have our mask, and what we're going to do, we're just going to take a pencil and trace around your mask. Okay? And you see my line here? Good. Now this is just a sketch for you to have an idea. We are actually going to design our mask, but we want to sketch it out first. So it doesn't have to be exact. I'm just putting a line down the middle so I know where to put my eyes, and you just put in 2 ovals. Doesn't have to be perfect. The nose, just like almost like a triangle. We just want to know where things are so that we can design. And a mouth. Okay? Right, now we have that, we can decide what our design should look like. I want you to think about what and how you would like to break up the surface of these masks. Okay? Look at this again. Would you like to do some geometric shapes? Look at this here over the eye, almost like a zigzag. Okay? So you're thinking of shapes and forms, but you're also thinking, how is this going to represent me? What are the things I like? Sometimes you can write down what are the things you like. For instance, for me, I am from Trinidad and Tobago, okay? So the colors of my flag, my national colors, are red, black, and white. So maybe that might be something I will use. So I write down Trinidad, okay? Some of you might want to use the colors of America, United States of America, right? Red, blue, and white. Maybe you have relatives, you're from another country, you might want to use those colors from where you are, or your family might be, your grandparents might be from another country. You identify with that and you might want to use those colors or the actual flag in there. Then you want to think of things that you like doing, your hobbies, things that represent you. So make a nice list and see what you can add to this, okay? Like for me, I think that I might want lines going this way, okay? A line going down the center. So I'm going to maybe decide where I want colors. So I'm going to use some of my Trinidadian colors. So I'll do red. This one will be white and black. So you notice I'm writing in the colors where I want. I want you to be very sure about what you want to do before you start. When you start to design and decorate, of course you can change your mind as you go along, but it's nice to have a plan about what you want to put. Once you have the plan, then you can change it up, but you never just want to go right in and then just start guessing, because you might make mistakes, you may not like what you want, and then you're like, oh no, I need a new mask because I messed up, okay? You only have one mask, so you don't want to mess up. Let's do a study. I'm going to repeat these colors. So I have red, white, and black. I'm going to do red, white, and black. Now, there might be different cultures in your family, and you might want to incorporate some of those in there, or choose the ones that you identify with the most, or do you like, okay? And red again. And I'm just going to have that on one side. This side, maybe I might have a solid color here. What kind of color would I want? And what else would I like there that represents me? So you want to think of those things. Now, on top of that, you also want to think of what can you have that will protrude, come up off of the surface. You know, almost like you can feel the nose coming off of the surface. What else can you add to these? Can you add things above the eyebrow coming off? You know, you can roll up pieces of tissue paper and create shapes and forms. You can use feathers that you can attach, rope that you can put around. I want to see things coming off the surface. So what I don't want is just a plain painted mask. I want you to show me how you could attach things and make it really interesting. Maybe you might want, long hanging tassels coming down at the side just because you like it, or it represents something that you have or like. You might have things protruding from the top. I think that I might want, because I have these kind of triangles, I might want maybe triangles coming off the top, which kind of might be like a sun. I don't know. You will come up and you will decide. But do you see, I'm just wanting to give you an idea of how my thought process is going, what I like. Now remember, you can do more than one. So you decide, okay, I like that. Maybe you take another sheet of paper and try another one and then choose. I always say that. A lot of students don't like to do more than one. But if you can't decide, do another one, totally different, and see what happens. But I would like you to decide what your colors would be. What would these colors here be? What would this color here? Would the eyes, would they be outlined? Would they be filled in? Would you put, your iris and the eye inside or not? Would you color in the whole thing? So you decide what you want to do, what is going to protrude or come off. Suppose I was to put some sort of tassels or lines. Okay, I'm just thinking about it quickly here for the benefit of this class, but you can take your time and think about it. You can do research on masks and think about it. But remember, I still want it to come back and relate to you, the things you like to do, things that you identify with, okay? Things that you're proud of, okay? Maybe you're proud of New Bedford. Maybe you might want to put something related to New Bedford here, okay? Maybe you might want to put something related to a hobby that you have. You understand? So that's what we're going to do now. So get your scrap paper, outline, and then start designing. And we'll be back and we will transfer our design onto our paper mask. Okay, so I've added more to my drawing, some more details. But before we continue, I'd like to show you some examples from other students. So these are just to show you examples of how other students did this exercise in this class. But it's just to show you, it's just references. But I want you to make yours related to you. So this student, he is Portuguese, his family's Portuguese, and he decided to do the Portuguese flag. Look at this. And this, you remember I talked about things protruding off? So this is air-dried clay, and you might have some of these in your pack as well. So he created this and he painted it. So this is the actual flag. And then the colors, how he got this color scheme, these are the colors of his flag. So he wanted to put the colors of the Portuguese flag in here. Also, look at this. What do you think these are? Soccer balls. He loved playing soccer. And so he decided he wanted something to protrude off of the head of his mask and did a soccer ball. He used the clay, the air drying clay again, and then painted the black marks on it. And then a small one. Do you understand? Good. So this is just a quick example of how one student added different elements to the piece and used some of his culture in his piece through the flag and the colors of his flag. Isn't that interesting? Look at how one eye is colored in black and the other one is left all red. So how he did it, he started painting first. He designed it with pencil lightly and then painted the flag on the page. Then added on these after. Okay? Good. Another one. Look at this one. Look at that. So what we do is we sketch out first what we want on our sketch paper, then we sketch it, we transfer it onto our mask. We paint first. So you'd like all the other exercises we do. I like to use, we do the backgrounds first and then add on to it, layering, okay? So you don't want to just put these areas that you stick on and then start painting. You want to paint your background first. What are these colors? This student also has Portuguese heritage, and if you notice the top part, he used the colors of the Portuguese flag here, red, green, and yellow, and just on the top of his mask. At the bottom of the mask, he used blue and red. He loved those colors. Those are his favorite colors. He'd used it. Here for the nose, he used, this was attached on top. Do you notice? Look, you don't have to use this nose here. You can cover it up. You don't have to use the eye or the lips. You can cover it up. Here, he did a beak, a bird's beak. So he wanted to bring a animal element to it. Oh, and that's another thing. In a lot of masks, they have replicas of animals. So you can have animals coming, you know, ideas of animals and concepts and themes of animals coming off of your mask. So he wanted to incorporate birds. He loved birds. So we have a beak here, again made of the air drying clay. And look what we have, feathers, bird feathers, all at the base of the chin. So you see that creativity? We also have tissue paper that was added on the edge and horns. He wanted to add horns to it. Now remember, this is your mask. You can add anything to it, anything that makes sense to you, how you want to perceive this mask, okay? So that's one example. Look at the colors and look at the attachments. I want everybody to have some sort of attachment coming off, creating a really three-dimensional image. One last example, look at this one. So this student decided he wanted to show good and evil. He said that how he was a little naughty at times and he was an angel at other times. Ooh, let's get this lighter. Okay, now you can see it. Good. So he decided to do half and half, the angel side and the little naughtier side. So he decided to do a red face. He had googly eyes here. So the side that is naughty or not that good, the eyebrow comes in like mean. Okay, we all have different sides to ourselves. So I thought this was a great idea that he wanted to show that. Smiling, frowning. Okay, horns. And then look what's on top of this. What do you think this is? A halo. And he put little rhinestones on top. Quite interesting. Then he wrapped this area around blue and it's tissue paper. Okay, so we're going to give you some different types of materials. You use what you want. You don't have to use all. But you can also look around your house. Look around. Ask your parents. Ask your guardians if you have anything around the house that you can use. Okay, cardboard. You can paint cardboard and then attach it on. So you don't have to use the clay, the air drying clay. You can make these horns out of cardboard or any sort of object that you can mold and create. Okay, so tissue paper and then these a little half like beads that he stuck on. Isn't that interesting? Wonderful. So I just wanted to give you some examples of student work, and now it's your turn to take your sketch and your mask and start designing. Okay, at this point you should have your sketch all drawn out with little, labels as to what colors are where, what shapes are where, and then you sketch out on your mask. So as you can see here, lightly. Please remember, don't press hard on it because there might be light colors you're using and you don't want to see the pencil through it. So I lightly did pencil lines across. And things might change as they go. So when I drew it here, I had red, white, black, and there was a space and I put red. But I did it in a way that I'm just going to have red, white, black, okay? And I have my design, and we're starting with our paint, our background. whatever colors are on the background, not the ones on top yet, the background and the largest areas first. So in my palette, I have my 3 colors, red, black, and white. So you can see my palette here. My palette looks dirty, but this is acrylic paint dries really dry. So this color that you see before is not going to mix with the colors that I have. All right, I'm going to start this area here, this shape, and that's red. I dip into my red, and I begin carefully. Now use a brush that is small enough, and remember, have a steady hand. Sometimes I like to put it straight down and drag it. Gives you a nice sort of straight edge. You see the areas here that had the white, you just go back in. Okay? And there's a little lip at the edge here, you can fill that in as well. So you're taking your time and you're starting to paint. So I have sections here. Some of you might have to paint the whole thing one color or half of the face one color, okay? Again, let's look at the example I showed you earlier. This one, he did half of the face red, half white. Now remember, the paper mask is white, but please don't leave it white. Paint it white, it will look different. So paint it white, and he painted this whole thing red. Mine is not going to be like that. Mine is different. I have different shapes. Everybody's own is going to be different. So you paint it the way you designed it. Okay? You can see. Taking my time, especially on the edge. Hold it down. Keep a steady hand. I like to put it down like this, right to the edge, and just kind of drag it. To me, it gives a straight line. Okay, nice and smooth, and there you go. All right. Red, black, and white. Now, if you have extra brushes, I would use another one for the white, because if not, you're using that brush, wash it out really good. And then use your tissue paper and dot it. And you can see how the remnants of the red. So you want to wash it and wash it and wash it until you don't see any traces. But if you have another brush, you can use one just for each. So I'm going to use a brush for each one of these colors. I go in with my white. I'm not just leaving it the white of the paper mask. Oops. Look at what happened. You know, this is a good example with art and being creative. I had a professor that used to say happy mistakes. So something might happen and you're like, oh my gosh, that looks good. Did you see what just happened there? My white paint splattered over there. And I don't mind. If it is something like that happens, you don't like it, wipe it off and then paint it red again, okay? I kind of like it, so I might leave it and maybe later on I might splatter some more white on top, you know? But that's how ideas are born. Sometimes you have a little mistake. If it's a mistake that you don't like, then try and correct it the easiest way you can. Don't think it's the end of the world, because then you can make something else happen. And again, this is acrylic paint, so once it's dry or you wipe it off, you can then just paint over it and no one will know. Okay, time for the black. Right here. Nice and easy. I'm going to go right over the eye. And then after that's dry, maybe I can outline the eye in a color that will stand out. Maybe like the white on top of it or something. Take your time. Try and get straight lines as best you can. And you know, when it's finished, if you think your lines are wobbly or whatever, when it's fully dry, you can always outline. Like you take a Sharpie or a marker, like a Sharpie, something that can go right over it and create outlines, okay? Good, so I have red, white, and black. And I'm going back in with my red brush, and going red again until I finish this whole area. And I chose my colors from my Trinidadian national colors, the colors in the flag. But you can choose your colors, maybe just your favorite colors. What are your favorite colors? Use your favorite colors. Are they blue and orange? Are they pink and purple? Okay? And then you continue. And then I'm going to go back in now with the white. And it's really good that if you use just a color for each, so you're not mixing color and it doesn't start, you know, getting remnants of white in there. Next thing you get pink, okay? So you seeing that? You understand what I'm doing? So I am going to continue like that all the way through until this whole area is done. I have my white, the white is going to go all the way through. Where's my, I used that brush already, but let's go again. Ooh, this white is drippy. It made another splatter, and I really love that splatter. I'm going to probably splatter some of that white paint through. Now this is my design. Your design is going to look very different. Your design is going to represent you, and your design will have your favorite colors or colors that represent something about you or your family or your heritage, okay? This is all about you. So I just want you to be as creative as you can. And again, we're painting backgrounds first. And then we can start adding on top. We can add designs with the paint on top. Like I said, splattering and stuff. I'll do that after. Or drawing little designs. I need a tiny brush. If you have a tiny brush, a detail brush, it can help you with, you know, little details like that going right up. Or as I said, when it dries, you can use like a black Sharpie or something. Okay. All right. Oh, I think that looks great. I can't wait to see. I'm wondering how yours is starting to come out, okay? Now this is just the beginning. Of course, we'll clean up the lines, we add things, but we're putting down the basis first, the base of it, okay? What colors are we doing for the base? What are we doing, okay? Now, I'm just going to use my national colors on this side alone. I wonder what I would like to do on this side, maybe another color. I think I might use yellow because I feel like these here are like yellow for the sun. I like yellow as well. You don't have to do, like if you're doing a flag color, it doesn't have to be throughout the entire thing. It could just be one little area, you know. You, again, decide that. You decide that. Okay, I'm just going to do another one just for you to see as I'm painting through. Here's my yellow. Now, you see how I have the zigzags and all of that? I don't want to add that in yet. I want to do whatever my base color is. Just turning it to you to see. I'm doing this whole side. Now this is a little easier. Ooh, that yellow looks nice and brilliant. And if you notice, I'm using a larger brush because this is a larger space. This whole half of the face is going to be in yellow. Now I have scrap paper underneath this white paper here so I can get paint on it. So remember to try and do that. So you're not getting paint on your desk or your dining room table. Okay? So nice even brush strokes, nice and long because this is a flat color. Some of you painting half of your mask in a flat color, or maybe the whole thing first and then adding different colors, shapes, etc. Now look at this, and this is what I want you to do while you're going along. So this is my example. Got a little paint on my sketch. That's okay, it's a sketch. So I have an idea of what this sketch is. But as things go along, I'm like, oh, that looks good, like the splatter. I have a little bit of the white peeking up there. I'm deciding, do I want to cover it up or do I want to leave it? So these are the decisions. I've decided right now that I don't want to leave it. I want to fill it in with the yellow, okay? And that's that. Look at that. And then I'm going to continue and I'm going to see how I'm going to add different things. So continue yours. Make sure your whole background is painted in. And then you can start adding different things. Okay? All right. So continue. Do your best. Paint the background. And let's see what happens when we come back. Okay, so I'm back and I'm just showing you how I'm piecing together different things. This could be very different for you because you'll be using different materials. Remember, look all through your house and see what sort of materials, fun things you can use. Remember, you can use stickers, you can use rhinestones if you have, you can use pebbles, all these different things. Depending on what you use, you might have to use different type of glue. So what we were using, white glue, but if you have anything that's heavy, you might have to use glue guns. We do that in class and we help students with that. But for home, if you're going to use that, get an adult, a guardian, parent to help you with it because the glue guns are hot and all of that. But that's the only way you'd be able to glue down really thick elements, okay? So when we did these and we glued down these on the head, etc., we use hot glue for the thicker materials. For thinner materials, we use white glue, okay? But we did this in class, so we'll help students with the hot glue. But at home, think of materials that you can use. So I am using construction paper. And remember, I am referring to my sketch, but I could change my mind. Here, I did decide I was going to use this like a sun and make these yellow. I decided not to. I have this side of the face yellow and I thought black would be a nice thing to use, but the same shape. So I did construction paper. Construction paper is nice and thin. And what I'm going to do, this is what I did with this first one here. It sticks pretty easily. I put some glue and I'm gluing it under. So look at that. Okay, I'm going to turn it like that for you to see. Right like this. Stick it down. That glue's pretty easy. Now, if this was a heavier piece of paper or something else, you might want to hold it down for a while. Just have patience with it. But if it's really heavy, then you would have to. Now, you can see a little glue here. That's fine. You can wipe it off or leave it because the white glue dries clear. And then I just continue all the way around. But I'm just giving you an example, so you are going to do your own, okay? Don't let me influence you. This is just an example, or the ones that I showed you. It has to resonate with you. It has to be something that you love, that you like, because this piece is going to represent you. And my triangles with different kind of shapes, sizes, this one is short and this tall. I did that on purpose. Press it down. Look at that. It's starting to happen. I like how it looks. I'm going to put another one here. Maybe I might put more. Suppose I put all the way around. I kind of think that might look nice. But you see the process, the thought process. I want you to think this is when we're creative. We have a sketch, but we don't have to stick fast to the sketch. But it's very important to start with a sketch. You need to have a starting point. And then as you go along, because, you know, just from this drawing, we don't know what's really happening when we start using color, we start using materials, you know. So in my drawing, I have these triangles coming off just to the top, and then I have things coming down. But suppose I was to do more than that. Suppose I was to do it all the way around. I like that. I like that a lot. So here's my paper that I was doing, right? Oh, look at that. These are already there. So what if I just snip these and then I have triangles and I don't have to do other triangles. So interesting when we get to start working. Different things just fall into place. I love that. I love it. Okay, we have our triangles. Let's continue. I liked how it looked going all the way around. I think I'm going to do that. Right? So I intended for it just to be at the top. Now I've decided to incorporate it all the way around. So I wonder what you're doing in terms of, you might have started with one idea, next thing you know, you're changing it up a little bit like me, or changing one part. Of course, it still has elements of what we started with, but the end result may not be the end result of the sketch, and that is totally fine. Because I want your creative mind to just keep going, to just different ideas and forms coming together. Thought process, great thought process. Trim that. But when you start, it's going to be so much fun because your mind is then thinking of the next thing. What is going to work with this? What next? What next? What next? You see how the paper, the construction paper is really good with this. It's so easy to stick. It's frustrating when you're trying to stick something that's heavy and it's just not happening because it's too heavy. So decide on your materials. If you have glue guns at home and you can get help to stick heavier materials on, great. If not, then think about what materials you want to use and use that. Use what works best. But then you're still able to tell your story or what you want. Okay, and there, ooh, and I love how that happened. I didn't even plan that. Was this thin one just coming down right in the middle. Okay, good. And then you can decide, I'm not finished yet. I want to put more things on the head. This yellow part, maybe I might go in with Sharpie or some sort of marker. It has to be dry for you to see it. Remember, you could put text, you could put words in there. Remember, you can do all sorts of things. Okay? You can use collage and write something. You can cut out something from a magazine and glue it on. You can make a heart and glue it on, a star, anything you want. All right. I have some rope here, and I thought it would be fun maybe if I was to wrap it all the way around. So let's try that. You know, sometimes you try things, you don't like it, you could take it off. But I think this would be a nice idea too. And of course, everybody will be using different things that work for you, things that you like. I put a generous amount of the glue. It's going to dry clear. And here we go. Right to the end. And we snip it off. Right here. Okay. And there you have it. All right, so we will be back with the finished product. Continue what you're doing. And so this is my finished product. Actually, As time goes by and I keep looking at it, I might add something else. I don't know. But do you understand the process we did? We made it our own. We thought about what it was going to do, how it represented us, with the colors we used, with the images we used. But then we let our creative minds continue and develop things. So it doesn't have to stick at one thing. So even if you use your flag, it doesn't have to look like a flag. Look at how I decided to put black lines, Sharpie lines within the white. I decided to do the splatter in the red and change it up. I decided to take the Sharpie and do repeated patterns in the yellow and not just leave it plain yellow. Okay, I might decide to put some sort of patterns in these black triangles. So you see how one idea can lead to another. So I'm so excited to see what you guys did. I wish I could see it. So, explore. These are the examples I showed you before, you see. And I hope you had a lot of fun with this exercise. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I know that you guys are going to have a great time. So I will say bye-bye to you for now and see you for another episode of Exploring My City Through Art. See you.